Right. In the previous class, you have looked into the concept of break statement. So what is the purpose of the break statement? The purpose of the break statement is to come out of the loop. Okay. So whenever you use a break inside a loop, what happens is you will come out of the loop. Okay. So the rest of the iterations will not happen. You will come out of the loop. Now, continue is another loop controlling statement, which is used to actually iterate through the next iterations. Okay, so it will skip the rest of the statements inside the loop for you, and it will continue with the next iterations. Unlike like break. Okay, so for the break, what you do is you come out of the loop. But for continue, what you will do is you will stay inside the loop, but the rest of the statements will not execute. Okay, so we'll look this concept with an example. Okay, so do not worry on this. The concept is similar to the concept that you have studied in C programming. You do have break and continue in the C programming as well. So the concept is similar to that. Okay, continue appears in the loop. So break also appears in the loop. When a compiler encounters a continue, then rest of the statements of the loop are skipped and the control is unconditionally transferred to the loop continuation portion of the nearest enclosing loop. Okay, so this nearest enclosing loop means that when you're having nested loops. Okay, so the syntax of the continue is simply a continue. Everything is in lowercase. Continue is a keyword. So whenever you want a continue inside your program, you'll be simply giving a continue. Okay, right. So we'll see examples now so that you'll understand it much better. Okay, so this is the flow control chart of how continue works. So say that I'm having a loop over here, which is while loop. And inside the while loop, there are many statements. So the three dots implies that there are many statements. And also along with the many statements, I have an if condition. Okay. And if this if condition is true, then what happens? I'm asking it to continue. Okay. So I'm asking it to continue. So what happens is after continue, after the if condition also, there are many other statements. So there are many statements before if condition and there are many statements after the if condition also. Okay. So if this if condition is true, what happens is the continue statement will execute and the control will go to the next iteration of the while loop. Okay. So meaning that the rest of the statements over here, okay, so will be skipped. Okay, so they won't execute if the continue executes. Now say that the if condition is false. If the if condition is false, the continue will not execute. So the rest of the statements will execute, okay, for you, and it goes to the next iteration of the while loop. Okay, so that is regarding the while continue inside the while loop. Now, how continue is used in the for loop? In a similar way. Okay, so what happens after the if condition? There are many statements over here. So whenever this continue executes, what happens is these statements after the continue will be skipped. They won't be executed, and it goes to the next iteration to follow. Okay, so this is a flowchart like wherein we can explain it clearly. You can see it clearly where the control goes. Okay, so this arrow mark here shows that it goes to the next iteration. Okay, so we'll see example now. So before going into the example, so let us look into how it works in the for loop, nested for loop. Okay, say I'm having a continue. So what it does is it goes to the nearest for. Okay, so the nearest for is the inner for. So I'm having two fors over here. This is the outer for and this is the inner for. So I have given continue inside the inner for. Okay, so when I have given continue inside the inner for, these statements after the continue will be skipped and the control goes for the next iteration. Okay, right. Explain you this program. So what happened here? So this is the entire program, girls. So in the first step of the program, what we have done, we have made I to be 0. I'm showing you the entire process of execution of the while loop. So listen to me very carefully. Okay. So what we have done, we have initialized I to be 0. And the next statement is a while loop. Okay. So now here in the while loop, it is checking for the condition So the condition is I is less than or equal to 9. So 0 is less than or equal to 9. So we are checking for the condition. So 0 is less than or equal to 9. So the condition is true because 0 is less than 9. So the condition is true. So when the while condition is true, what happens? It goes to the while body. Okay, so what is there inside the while body? Inside the while block, you can also say that it is a block of while. So inside the while block, there is an increment over here. So what is that increment? Increment of I by 1. Okay. So what is happening to the I value now? So I have incremented. So 0 plus 1 will become 1. So now
1.
the I value is 1. Okay. So now I'm giving you the tracing of this while loop. So listen to me very carefully. Okay. So now I value has become 1. So again, the condition is checked. The condition is 1 is less than or equal to 9. So the condition is true, right? So when the condition is true, what happens? No. We are not checking for the condition over here. Sorry. Okay, so there are rest of the statements. Okay, so now what happened? I has incremented and it goes to the next statement. Okay, so it goes to the next statement. What is the next statement?
I double
What is the
equal to
next
5.
statement? Yeah. Next statement is an if condition where it is checking for the condition that whether I is equal to 5. So what it is doing, 1 is equal to 5. So is 1 equal to 5? The condition is false,
False.
right? So because the condition is false, what is there in the if block? What is there in the if block? Inside the if block, there is
Continue.
continue. Because if a block is false, what will happen? It will not execute. Continue will not execute. So what it will do? It will go to the next statement, wherein it will say print I. Okay, so what will be there in the output? I will be printed. What is the value of I? I is 1. So 1 is printed. And then we are giving a space. And then it goes for the next iteration. Okay, so in the next iteration, what is the value of I? The value of I is 1, right? So what it will do, it will check for the condition again. 1 is less than or equal to 9. Is 1 less than or equal to 9? Yes, it is true. Now what happens? It enters into the while body. After entering into the while body, we are incrementing the value of I to 2. And again checking for the if condition. So now we are saying 2 is equal to 5. Okay, so this 2 is equal to 5 is false again. So what happens? This continue will not execute. It will print the value of I. What is the value of I? 2. 2 is printed and then a space is also printed. And then it goes for the next iteration. So in the next iteration, what is the value of I? It is 2, right? So it checks for the condition 2 is less than or equal to 9. So this condition is true. So what happens? It again enters into the while loop. So I increments and I value becomes 3. Okay, so when I value becomes 3, we are checking for an if condition that 3 is equal to 5. The condition is false. So what happens? It prints the statement 3 on the screen for us and goes for the next iteration. Okay, so in the next iteration, it checks whether 3 is less than or equal to 9. The condition is true. So what happens? I value gets incremented. So it becomes 4 now. Okay, so now we are checking for whether 4 is equal to 5. 4 is not equal to 5. So it doesn't enter into the if block. So it prints the value of 4 for me on the screen. Okay, so now it goes for the next iteration. In the next iteration, what is 4? I value is 4. 4 is less than or equal to 9. 4 is less than or equal to 9. The condition is true. So it enters into the while body. Inside the while body, we made I value to be 5 now. Okay, we made the I value to be 5 now. So what we are doing now, we are checking the if condition where the condition is that 5 is equal to 5. The condition is true now. When the condition is true, what happens? The if body executes. So inside the if body, what did we write? We have written a continue. It's just a continue.
Continue.
We just have written a continue there. So what happens is the rest of the statements will not execute, and as soon as this continue executes, it goes for the next iteration. Okay, so it goes for the next iteration, skipping this print statement. So that's the reason you won't find 5 in the output. Okay, so just take a look at the output. If you see, After 4, it is not printing 5. Why it is not printing 5? Because I is equal to 5 has become true. So continue executed. So when continue executes, the rest of the statements will be skipped and it goes for the next iteration. But this is not the case with the break. If break is encountered for the same program, what will be the output? If I have written if I is equal to 5 for the same program and I said instead of continue, I have put break, what will be the output?
1, 2, 3, 4 will print, ma'am.
Yes, very good. 1, 2, 3, 4 only
Iteration
will
not
be printed.
takes place.
Iteration do not take place. It comes out of the loop. Okay, so if break is encountered, it comes out of the loop. But because we have given a continue, the rest of the statements will skip and it goes for the next iteration. Okay, so now what will happen? It goes for the next iteration, checks whether 5 is equal to 9, less than or equal to 9. As it is true, it enters and I value becomes a 6. Okay, and the rest of the values will be printed as they are. Okay, but because we have given continue for only one condition, that I is equal to 5, only that will be executed. For us, is continue clear to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay, so now we'll look into another. Now in case, okay, so let me show you how continue will work in the nested for. So let me take this example. Okay, say for example, I'm having an outer fur. Okay, so I have an outer fur, and I also have an inner fur. Okay, and so here in the inner fur, I have written a condition like if something. Okay, so then I'm saying continue. Okay, what will happen when I have given continue and there are some statements inside the inner fur? Now what will happen? I have given continue over here, right? What will happen? The control will go to the inner fur only. Okay, so the control will go to the inner fur only, but skipping the rest of the statements after the continue, it will go to the next iteration of the inner fur only. Okay, so this is where giving continue in a nested fur. Now, if you're using a break over here, what will happen? The inner fur will break and the outer fur will execute as it is. Okay, so just understand how you're giving break and continue in the nested fur. Understanding it in the single ones is very easy for us, but understanding it in the nestings, it's very difficult. So that's the reason why we have used a term inside your definition of continue, that continuation portion to the nearest enclosing loop. Okay, so this is important when you put it in a definition. Okay, so that's the reason what happened over here when I use a continue inside the inner fur. The inner fur's rest of the statements after continue will be skipped and it goes for the next iteration of the inner fur. Okay, in the similar way, if I use break in the inner fur, what happens? Only the inner fur will be will break. Okay, so the control goes to the outer fur. Okay, so this is how you use it internally. So your logic has to build accordingly. Okay, according to the concept. Is it clear how to use it inside the nesting of the fur and all that?
Yes, ma'am.
What happens? Yeah, what happens when you give continue inside a fur? Okay. So the next concept is past statement. So I hope continue is clear to everyone in the class. Is continue clear to everyone in the class?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay, so the next statement is past statement. Okay. So past statement, if you can see in the bottom of the slide, like there is a syntax of the past statement, it's simply a pass. Okay, so past statements are also called as no operation statements or a placeholder or a null statement. These are the other synonymical words for the past statement. You can also say that there are no operation statements. You can also say past statements as placeholders, or you can also say that they are null statements. Okay, now why do you require a past statement is the question here. Okay, so the need is that you just want to increase you want to create a delay. Say you want to create a delay. Okay, so delay in the program, or maybe you want to wait till the user gives the input or whatever. So to create delays, we'll be using the pass statement. Okay, so this is one usage. The other usage is that, say in your code, you're writing an application. Okay, so you're creating an application, say it any kind of application you're creating, a banking application or any application. So there, the code will be very lengthy, right? So you'll be writing a very lengthy code. And inside the lengthy code, so as of now, you know that there is an if statement, or there is something a for statement or whatever, but you don't know what to write inside this if block, and you don't know what to write inside the for block. Okay, say you don't know what to do. Okay, but you know that there is a condition. The condition is like anything. Okay, so you want to check whether the balance is greater than 500. If the balance is greater than 500, you want to do something. Okay, but as of now, you're not very clear with the logic of what you have to do if the balance is greater than 500. So there is a vacuum there. Okay, so you don't know as of now, but you just have to discuss with your team and decide on what you have to do in that particular module. So in that cases, what you can simply do is, but your language will not allow you to leave the block. If you're giving an if, it means that you have to give a body of for the if. There should be a block for the if. You cannot simply leave it. You cannot say if and you cannot leave it like that. Okay, so you cannot execute. It's an error. Okay, so you cannot leave it like that. So in this particular situation, the pass statement will come in handy for you. Okay, so you can simply give pass inside the body of the if or body of the loop. Okay, so that is the second usage of the pass. Okay, so the first advantage of using a pass is that to create delays, because that statement also will be executed. Okay, so to create delays. And the second reason is that you just don't know what is there in the body of the for, and you want, as of now, you just wanted to skip that portion. Okay, so you don't want that, you can't write that portion because you don't know, you don't have clarity on what exactly you have to write in the if block. In that situation, you will be just putting a pass, because your language will not allow, according to the syntax of the programming language Python, it will not allow you to leave a if statement without a body. Okay, so without a block. So that is an error. Okay, so to actually overcome that error, okay, so that's the reason you can just give a pass inside the if or for. Okay, I hope everybody understood this. Okay, now when you don't need a statement logically, you use pass. Okay, right. It's like do nothing statement inside a loop. Okay, but syntactically it will work for you without giving an error. And what's it now? Now the difference. Now you might get in question. You might get a question in your brain that what is the difference between comment and pass now? Okay, so because you can give comments, right? Comments will actually increase the readability of the code. Why we give comments? We start a comment with a hash and you give a comment, right? What is the purpose of the comments? The purpose of the comments is to enhance or increase the readability of the code. Say you have written the code and you stopped. So looking at the comments, they'll know what you have performed in the functions and what kind of logic you have written. So comments, even for you also, if your project is of 6 months duration, okay, so you won't be able to remember what you have coded in the first month. Okay, it needs some time to understand. Okay, so the comments will actually enhance the readability or make the code more understood. Okay, right. So the difference between the comments and pass is that comments are ignored by the interpreter. So interpreter will not process it. Whenever it sees a hash, it will just ignore that statement. But what happens with pass is it will be executed, meaning that time is killed, but nothing happens. But comments, no time, it doesn't execute it at all. So no time is taken for executing the comments. But for pass, what happens is time is taken, but nothing happens. Okay, so that is what is called as pass statement. Is pass statement clear to everyone in the class?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, let us see it in a program. Okay, so this is a program wherein I don't know what I have to do. So these statements I don't know. Okay, so or I just wanted to create a delay to print the name or to print the string. Okay, Sudha is a string, and I just wanted to create some delay to print this particular Sudha. So what I did, I just have given a pass over here. Okay, so this is creating a delay. I just created a delay. Now what your interpreter will do, interpreter will execute even this part. Okay, so it will come to this pass. Okay, it will see this pass. Okay, so there is a pass, it will skip. It will go to the next statement. Okay, so the next statement is printed. But printing directly Sudha in the fur and having a pass statement and then printing Sudha, actually there is a time gap over there to print Sudha on the screen. I hope everybody understood this.
Yes,
Yes?
ma'am.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So now coming to the next one. So this is the next advantage that I have given for the pass statement. The first one is creating the delays, and the second one is where I don't know what is there in this if block. Okay, so if B is greater than A, I don't know what to do as of now, but I know that that case exists. Okay, I know that that case exists. Okay, but I don't know what to do inside that particular case. As of now, I don't know. So in that case, what I do, I simply give a pass. If I'm not giving a pass, okay, so say I'm not giving a pass and I just have written these 3 lines of code. Okay, so say I have not, not, okay, say that I have not given this pass and I have written only these 3 lines of code. Okay, so say I said A is equal to 3 and I said B is equal to 21 and I said if B is greater than A and a colon. Now what will happen if I execute or if I run that code, I'll get an error. It will say the body of the if is empty. So you need to give something in the body of if. Okay, because I have put an pass over here, this code will execute. If I run this code will execute without any errors. Okay, right. So is it clear with the 2 cases? The 2 scenarios where exactly you will be using pass. Okay, in the first scenario, we are using pass to create delay. And in the second case, we are using pass to actually ignore. Okay, so ignore not giving a block of an if. Okay, right. Okay, so this is giving a pass inside a for loop. So that is a case where I have given pass inside an if block. Okay, so I can also use pass inside a loop also. Okay, but instead of giving this particular pass, you can see the output over here. So these are 2 different programs. So on the left side of your slide program, you can see that I have not given a pass, but I have left the body of the fur or the fur block empty. I cannot leave it like that. The programming language do not support such kind of activity. Okay, so not giving a block. There should be a purpose for each and every line of code that you write. And so you have written a for statement over here, but there is no body. Then what is the purpose of writing for itself? Okay, logically. So that's the reason the language will not accept such kind of activity. Okay, so leaving off the block of the for empty like this is not supported by Python. So because I have not given anything inside the body of the fur, what it is saying, it's saying it's syntax error, unexpected end of file while parsing. Okay, so it's an error. You're getting a syntax error. But see here on the right side of your slide, I have given a pass inside the body. There is nothing, no logic, nothing. I just have given pass to escape from the syntax errors. Okay, pass is processed. Time is taken for processing this statement, but nothing happens. Okay, it's not a mistake. It's not considered to be a syntax error anymore. Okay, later on, after some time, maybe I can discuss with my team or maybe myself, I can come to a conclusion that this can be there inside the for block. Then I can fill it up with the logic, taking away the pass. Okay, right. So this is using pass in the for loop. Is it clear, ma, to everyone in the class?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay, so now let us take a look into else statement used with loops. Okay, so here we are having a concept like unlike your C programming. Okay, so in C programming, you do have a concept of else, but you can only associate else with if only. You cannot associate else with for and all that. But here you do have a facility to associate an else with for. Okay, so what you are doing here, so this is an for block. It will execute after else. Okay, so you can see that for x in range 0 comma x, then I said I want to print x. Okay, and then I have given else over here, so you can associate an else with the for. Okay, so then I have put a colon and then I said else after for, and everything will be printed like this for you on the screen. Okay, so 0 1 2. Okay, so this range minus 1. Okay, so 3 minus 1 is 2, so it will take the numbers from the sequence is from 0 1 and 2. So 0 1 2 will be assigned to x. So first it will take 0, then 1, and then 2. Then after that the else is executed, else after for, and then the high. Okay, so this is how you can associate a for with else, and you can write your own logics accordingly. Okay, so this is association of else with the while loop. Okay, so here I am showing you two cases. Okay, so what is happening? So I'm taking in the value of I over here. So in the first case, what we have taken it to be minus 1. Okay, so minus 1 is less than 0. Okay, so minus 1 is less than 0. The condition is true. Okay, so the condition is true. Now what happened? It is printing the I, which is minus 1 on the screen. And then it is incrementing the value of I. So minus 1 now became 0. So it goes to the loop. Okay, so 0 is less than 0 is false. So the while loop is now while loop is broken. So you come out of the while loop and the else part is executed. So it says 0 is not negative, and all that. All the else part will be executed. Okay, now even if the while is true or false, the else is executed. You can just see that. Okay, right. So these are the two cases where while is true in the first case and while is false in the next case. Okay, but you can see that else is executed. I'll show you another example for else with the loops. Can you see, ma? Can you see the else with the for?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. So this is another example. So the slide has actually missed. So I just have to pick up the slide. Okay. So this is else with the for loops. You will understand the usage of else over here with an example. Okay. See, in the first case, I have a for loop wherein I am trying to make the series. So the series over here is 0. Okay, 0, 1, and 2. Okay. So now I am saying, so x will take the value of 0 initially. And what will happen inside the for block, we have written if x is equal to 1. So x is not equal to 1. So what happens? It is printing the value of x. So what is the value of x? 0 is printed on the screen. Now what will happen? It goes to the for loop again. It goes to the for loop again and take the next element in the sequence. So the next element in the sequence is 1. Okay, so in the sequence of numbers, right? So it takes 1 now. So what is x now? X is 1 now. So what is happening over here? We are checking for the condition that 1 is equal to 1. So here the condition is true. Okay, so as soon as this condition is true, what we have written, it enters into the if block. Inside the if block, we have written break. Okay, what will happen now? So because we have given break inside a for loop, what will happen now? The control, now the rest of the sequence will not execute, and what will happen? It will come out of the for loop. Okay, so it will come out of the for loop. Now, after coming out of the for loop, you can see here that there is an else over here. Okay, but in the output, I have written something in the else block that print else. But in the output, you can see that else is not there in the output. Okay, so the reason is that if there is a break, if your for loop comes out, okay, without full execution, it means that there is a break inside your for. In that cases, the else will not execute. Okay, so the else will not execute if the for loop has come out. Okay, so if the control from the for loop has come out because of a break.
Ma'am,
Okay.
explain this program once again, ma'am.
Once again, okay, fine. Okay, so what we are doing here is, this is the entire program. Okay, so this is the entire program. This is the entire program. The execution begins with the for loop. Okay, so the execution begins with the for loop. Okay, so X is there and this is the range, right? Okay, so what is the range? The range will start, this is the start and this 3 is the end, right? So I want a range from 0 to 3. 3 means 3 minus 1. Okay, so this you already know. We have seen this concept in the for loop. So what are the elements in the sequence? The elements in the range are 0, 1 and 2. Antena? ఇక్కడ దాకా అర్థమైందా?
Yes, ma'am.
అర్థమైంది.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so first x ఏం తీసుకుంటుంది? First x will take 0, right? Okay.
0.
You can see that I am writing on the screen, right? Can you see my writing on the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, right?
Ma'am.
So you can, you can follow that. Okay. So I said x initially takes the value of 0 because this is the first element in the sequence. Okay, right. And after taking x, what it will do? It will enter into the body. Kada? For lopalaki enter ayyindi. For lopala nenu em ichchanu? I gave a condition. Enta condition? X equal to 1 na kada ani condition check chesanu. Condition true ayinda, false ayinda?
False.
False ayindi. False ayindi kabatti break execute avutunda?
No, ma'am. No.
Avadu,
ma'am.
because break is inside the block of if kabatti. So break condition, if condition false ayindi kabatti, break will not execute for me. So what will it do? It goes to the next statement. What is the next statement? The next statement is printing x. So what it will do? It will print x for you on the screen. What is the value of x?
0.
0.
So 0 is printed on the screen. ఇక్కడ దాకా అర్థమైందా?
Yes, ma'am.
అర్థమైంది. ఇప్పుడు ఏం చేస్తుంది? మళ్ళీ నెక్స్ట్ ఇటరేషన్ కి వెళ్తుంది కదా, అంటే అయిపోయింది కదా, ఫర్ ఇక్కడతో అయిపోయింది కదా.
Yes,
ఓకే,
ma'am.
మళ్ళీ ఫర్ నెక్స్ట్ ఇటరేషన్ కి వెళ్తుంది. ఫర్ విల్ గో ఫర్ ద నెక్స్ట్ ఇటరేషన్. నౌ వాట్ విల్ ఎక్స్ టేక్? Now x will
1.
take the next element in the sequence.
1.
What is the next element in the sequence? 1. So
1.
x will be 1 now. Okay. Now what it will do? It will do the same thing. After taking 1, it will enter into the for block. Inside the for block, there is an if condition. Okay. So there is an if condition over here. So what we are checking in the if, we are checking that if x is equal to 1. X is equal to 1. So the condition is true or false? The condition is true, right?
Ma'am.
So
True, ma'am.
as soon as the condition is true, what happens? It enters into the if body. Inside the if body, what is there?
Break.
Break is there. Now what will
Break.
happen? Control ekkadiki vastundi?
Else part.
Else part దగ్గరికి next అంటే దాని అర్థం ఏంటి? According to the concept that you have studied, for loop, when the for loop finishes off its execution or break or anything, it comes to the immediate next statement after for. This is the concept that we have studied, right?
Yes.
Yes. But this
Yes,
else is
ma'am.
associated with the for. This else is associated with the for, meaning that based on the first behavior, this else will execute or not execute will be decided. Okay, is it clear? So what
Yes.
is that activity that will make this else execute and not execute? Since we have this for loop have come out of the control has come out of this for loop because of the execution of the break statement, the else will not execute. If the for loop comes out, if the control comes out of the for loop because of the break statement, the else will not execute. If it is normal termination only, the else will execute. Is it clear? Because here the termination is not
Yes, ma'am.
normal. It's an abnormal termination. Based on certain condition, you're terminating the loop abruptly, right? What is the break? Break will actually stop the execution of the loop abruptly because based on some condition, you're not executing the for loop to the fullest. Fullest means what? From the beginning of the sequence till the end of the sequence, it should execute, keep on taking the values from the sequence one after the other. It has to keep executing the block of the loop. But what happened here, because there is a break, what happened? There is an abnormal termination of the loop. The loop didn't execute to the fullest. Because the loop termination was abnormal, what happens? This else will not execute. So if else execute, it means that it is normal termination. If else didn't execute, it means that it's an abnormal termination. Is it clear, Amma?
Yes, ma'am.
Now is
Yes,
it clear?
ma'am.
Now is it clear? Yes, right? So that's the reason there is no else in the
ma'am.
output over here. So you just have statement after for. Okay. Now the same case, but I didn't give this break inside the for loop. Okay, I have not given the break inside the for loop. Now what happened? The loop is executing to the fullest of the range that I have given. So the elements are 0, 1, 2. So the loop is executing to the fullest. So it is printing 0, 1, 2. And then it is also printing else for me on the screen and then statement after for. Whatever statements are there after the for, they will be executed. So is it clear how you associate else with the for loops?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes.
Ma'am.
Yes. Okay. So this is the case. I just wanted to give another program wherein you are using break inside the while loop, the same program. Okay, so you can see that there is a break over here. I said like my initial initialization of I have done with 0, and then I want I to execute till 4. Okay, so what is the range here? So the range is 0, 1, 2, and 3 and 4 because I said I want it to break when it become 5. Okay, so if I value has become 5, I want the loop to break and I want to execute it 5 times from 0 to 4. So for 0, okay, it is printing happily because the condition I is equal to 3 is not satisfied. So 1 it is printing on the screen for me because 1 is not equal to 3. 2 is also printed on the screen for me because 2 is not equal to 3. But when 2 becomes 2 increments and becomes 3, and the while condition satisfies, it enters into the loop. There is a condition here which is saying 3 is equal to 3. Because 3 is equal to 3, now what happened? This break executes. What will this break do? This break will bring the control out of the while to the immediate next statement after while. But here, since we associated while with else, there is a different functionality. There is a different flow of execution. Okay, so what happens? This else will not execute because we have given a break inside the while. So this else will not execute. So what it is doing? It is saying statement after for. Now here in this case, I have not given any break inside the while. So what happens? Else will execute. So this is wherein I'm checking whether the loop has been abruptly terminated or it has executed to the fullest by using an else, by associating an else with the loops. Is the functionality clear to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay, so
Yes,
I
ma'am.
think this is the end of your first part of your unit. So let us take a look into your second unit. So your second unit is having two parts over here. The first part is decision control statements, and the second part is the data structures. Okay, so in the first part, decision control, you would have seen if, else if, okay, so ellipse and nested ifs and all that concepts you would have seen. And also you would have seen the iterative statements like while and for. And also you would have seen the nested loops. And in today's class, we have seen break, continue, pass statements, and else statement used with the loops. Okay, so this has brought to the end of the first part of the second unit. Okay, fine. So the next part of your unit is all about the data structures. Okay, so let us take a look into what is this, because we still have time. We still have 5 more minutes. Five minutes ఉంది ఇంకా క్లాస్ కి. డేటా స్ట్రక్చర్ స్టార్ట్ చేసేనా? మీరు స్టార్ట్ చేసుకుంటారా? Okay, fine. Sir will start your data structures because it's a very new topic. So it would be good that we start it fresh. Okay, so meanwhile, what are the if conditional branching concepts that you have seen so far? What are the concepts you learned in the first part of the second unit? Girls, can you hear me? Is my voice audible to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Yes. Can you tell me?
If selection statement.
Is there switch inside your Python? Is the switch there in Python? In your C programming, you learn if and else, and then you have also learned the switch, right?
Yes.
Switch is again a conditional branching concept. Do you have switch in Python?
No, ma'am.
Okay, switch. Yes. Okay, switch is not there in Python. Okay, and because you can achieve that using your if and else itself. So they didn't complicate the language with more concepts. Okay, and so what are the other concepts? Can you tell me what do you mean? What are the concepts that you have learned with the ifs?
If statement, nested.
else if statement.
If any
అటెండెన్స్ వాళ్ళు ఇస్తారా మనం తీసుకోవాలా?
while condition.
What are the different kind of programs that you can write using if? Can somebody tell me different kind of programs that you can write using if?
If else time or not.
If block.
Emma?
If block statement.
What are the kind of programs? Emma?
If else if
Mm-hmm. Okay.
nested if
Okay, fine. Okay, fine. Okay, can you give me the attendance? Who are all absent? What is the total strength of your class?
58.